Welcome back to the Webby and O'Neill channel. And the UK Chancellor, Reeves, has given the green light for government backing of the Regeneration project in and around Old Trafford. Get involved in today's chat. As usual, Reds, have your say, because I'm sure it's something that you really do want to talk about, because it is passionate and a big subject amongst Manchester United fans, shall I say.
Yeah.
Now, you've been scratching your head a lot, looking around different news articles today. I've not really spoken to you before we've gone on this stream, so give us your thoughts and opinions on this.
No, I have been scratching my head trying to work out the details to see if there is real details, get down to the nitty-gritty. What I've seen is that this morning the government announced support for infrastructure projects across the country to boost growth. And one of those projects is the backing of the regeneration and the redevelopment of Old Trafford and its surrounding areas. Now, I've got lots of questions, and I'm sure yous have out there, but the backing, you know, I'm looking at it and thinking to myself, well, where's the money? Where's the details? I expect a lot of details to come out at a later date. So for me, at the moment, it's a lot of head scratching, a lot of questions and a lot of things to get into with you as we go along here.
Yeah, give us a little bit more detail. So what does it mean then when the government and the Chancellor come out and say they're actually backing this project?
Well, backing, what does it mean? They don't say money. I think maybe what they're looking at, if you look at the government now, what it is, can they back it with money? Everyone knows what lives in Britain. The story around Britain is there's no money for the government. So I think it's going to be a big problem. So when it comes to backing, I think what they're saying and what they'll come out with their future plans is they will override any planning permissions or any obstacles in the way of the local councils and things like that. I think that's where they're going to say, we're backing you. We're not going to give you the money. Go and get it from private investors and things like that. I can't see anywhere where the government are able to provide the backing for the plans what are out there and provide the money. I just cannot see any details. Now, I'm just a Manchester United fan. I'm not an economist or anything like that. I don't know anything about like government, how it's run or anything like that. But one thing I do know, something like this, as massive as this, is all about money. So my opinion is, I'm not too sure about this project until I see on the table the money. And we need to see the plans, not just from from Sir Jim Ratcliffe about building the stadium. We know that's $2 billion. I estimate that to go way above $2 billion, but that's my personal opinion. But where's the money coming from the government? Until I see it on the table, this is politicians, and this might be the old cynic in me. It's politicians we're dealing with. They're only here for 4 years. I very much doubt they'll be here for any longer than that. So they'll say anything. This is how I see it as an old cynic when dealing with politicians.
This is separate, though, to the actual stadium, whether they're going to regenerate the current stadium or build a new one as well. We're talking here about the regeneration of in and the surrounding area of Old Trafford here, aren't we?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. But the thing is, the first thing what has to be dealt with is the plans have to come out and the costings, the finance has to be done. And will it pass? Will the details pass? And that's the freight terminal, okay? The railway line, what runs along the south stand and then goes round there. It's a major hub for freight coming through the northwest. What are the plans for that? Where's the money for that? That will cost an enormous amount of money and upheaval. So who's going to sort that out? That is the first thing what has to be done. The plans and the money have to be in place. Nothing else will be done unless that is approved and the money found for the project, because it is a massive, massive undertaking to take away that railway line and divert it to where they want it to go, and a massive cost to whoever is going to put the money in.
Yeah, regeneration and the economic impact as well. It's estimated that it'll bring 7.3 billion boost to the economy and create 90,000 jobs, and in between 15 to 20,000 new homes built around the area as well. So what challenges does that bring?
Massive challenges for the local community, everything else like that. Massive challenges to divert a railway line and create a new freight hub. I see this going on. The big challenges from the local population. I expect that. I expect protests. When you talk about massive infrastructure projects, what go on in the country, I think in a lot of countries, to be honest with you, especially Western countries, there is always people out there objecting to something. They want their 15 minutes worth of fame and they want to stop things because they've got a little team behind them. I expect that 22,000 homes to be built in and around Old Trafford. Me looking at it, and I'm here every day, going round Old Trafford, round Stretford, you name it, all over. I don't know where you can put 1,000 homes, never mind 22,000 homes. This is a massive undertaking and a massive financial commitment, and it will upset a hell of a lot of people. A lot of people will be removed from the area. Will they be brought back? There'll have to be guarantees set out. This is a long-term project. Omar Barada turns round about winning the league in 2028. To be honest with you, looking at everything, I think we'll win the league earlier than what we'll build a new stadium.
Yeah, I think the actual timeline of it, and when you do it like governments, etc., putting a timeline of it'll be a 6-year plan until it's actually fully built as well. And, you know, you've always got to put at least another 2 years on top of that, haven't you?
Yeah, but I'm not too sure when that statement's there about a 6-year plan, okay? I think that's a 6-year plan after everything's been put into place.
Yeah, everything's been signed.
Everything's been signed off, money, the regeneration of the area, the plans and everything. I think once the plans are in place and the money's in place, I think they're talking about 6 years. So how far away is this? What is the estimate? Well, if it's 6 years from signing off the financial side of it, the planning side of it, I think that planning application will drag on for years and years and years. And that's the problem, what I worry about. Critics are out there. I've seen a few critics already, and they're saying this could take years. And I go back to the freight, the terminal, the removal of that is key to anything. And that will be a discussion what will go on for quite a while.
Yeah, we're expecting like the final decision though of whether they're going to refurbish the current stadium, Old Trafford, or build a new stadium. What's your personal thoughts on that? Do you think they will move and build a new stadium, or just regenerate this one?
Well,
or refurbish it?
This is down to Sir Jim Ratcliffe providing the finances, and them finances for the new stadium has to be there now. He's been here over a year. I would have expected him to have sorted out the finance and ready to come out along with the government about their finances, about the regeneration. But I do look at the South Stand and the ground. If that is to be redeveloped, I still believe that the problem redeveloping Manchester United football ground is the railway line at the South Stand. To do it, you have to remember what we're being told, the Wembley of the North. We want the Wembley of the North, okay? It has to be top quality. Well, you have to, in my opinion, you have to remove that railway line there to do the expansion. Yes, there might be a little upheaval further around the corner for certain homes, certain streets and that, but it is, for me, it has to be the priority to remove that railway line, to build the South Stand up so the whole stadium can be just one fixture and not an oddball, something stuck in there with the South Stand lower while everything else goes higher. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, just going to go into the chat. Rich David, just going off topic slightly. Thanks for your super chat, mate. He says, what's Tony's thoughts on fans groups and protesting?
What's my thoughts on fans groups? My thoughts on fans groups, they shouldn't even be inside Old Trafford. Fans groups themselves, did they talk to each other? So who did they represent? That's how I look at it. Protests, I've said from the beginning, I don't go on protests because the protests are about getting Glazer out. Well, until someone tells me they're going to get Glazer out and here's the plan and it'll work, what's the point of protesting from my point of view?
Yeah, I think you've got a little bit more to add, though, to be honest with you on that. I think one of the things we've always discussed, me and yourself, is that you've always thought the only way to get the Glazers out is through their own downfall and their own business plan. And let's face it,
That nearly happened.
That nearly happened, but us ourselves, we wanted Sir Jim Ratcliffe really to take it that step further and buy 100% of the football club, and that's what we was expecting, especially when he come out himself and said he wasn't here to make any money. So I thought he might have spent that extra few quid, which we're obviously talking billions, it's not just a few quid, but to get the club he's supported all his life as well.
Yeah, we're going off subject, but I do understand, right, it is important, okay, and people need to understand where I stand on the Glazers. I always said the only way the Glazers will be removed would be by their own stupid business ideas, and that nearly happened, and now they've been rescued, and now they're in there. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Any ideas for any of the future? Like we've always said, actually, to be fair, ever since we started this channel, what is it, 4 years ago now, we're always open to fans groups coming on here and discussing what the plans are going forward, whether that's to do with fans or inside Old Trafford. And yeah, like I'll reiterate, anyone's more than welcome to come on here and express their ideas and their agendas on here to every other Manchester United fan who follows us. But yeah, getting back into the stadium, the new ground, as we've seen recently as well, little Timmy and Grandad Dave are expected to fund a lot of the mismanagement at the club of the Glazers through ticket prices. So do you expect that to continue even further?
Yeah, well, it's out of order funding everything through ticket prices. With the third, we get more receipts, more money in on a match day. I think we're third around the world in getting revenue in. So to put the onus on the fans is an absolute disgrace. That's how I see it.
Yeah, anything more to add though?
No, it's just, on what?
Just with what's being discussed today.
Oh, no.
The Regeneration project,
right.
new stadium,
I thought you meant, look, I've got loads to say about it. Look, we need to see, okay, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the government, okay, their financial plans before getting excited. It's a big, big project, and I'm excited, but I can't visualise it until I see them plans. And by rights, and what United fans should be demanding, instead of being drip fed, right, is Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his PR team coming out with little bits here, little bits there, and all that. And the major problem, and it is a stumbling block, is what do they mean by backing? That needs to be explained, and it needs to be explained quickly. I don't want this dragging on where we're all thinking and saying this and saying that, and then plans change and then ideas change and then we're just surmising on different things. I want to see the plans. He's been here long enough now, Sir Jim. I want to see the finances where they're in place so I can relax and say, right, the money's there, the finances are there for that. That's what we need to see. And is this government going to back it up? They want growth in the economy, right? So when you want growth in the economy, you have to put your money where your mouth is. And me personally, my personal opinion, I don't think they've got the money, and I don't think that's the way they're going to go.
New stadium or even a refurbished one, they'll want to give a fan experience as well. A new offering of things inside the football ground to get fans in there earlier and to spend money. Have we got to a point, or we could get to a point, where they start actually pricing out the working class man and woman though?
Going forward, the working man will be priced out. This stadium, what's going to be built, the ideas I've just mentioned, the Wembley of the North, they will want it to generate as much income as possible. You're not a fan, you're a customer, and they want the customer to come into this new stadium and spend. So they'll want you, the ordinary fan now, what normally happens is half an hour before the game, you tend to get there. That's the main crush. They want it the other way round. They want you in there an hour and a half before to enjoy the luxury and everything, the surroundings and all that. They want you to engage in a match day experience. Well, that match day experience isn't about getting inside the ground 10 minutes before kickoff and leaving straight after the game. It is all about money. But that's the way of the world. That's the way of the football. That's what's going on. Been to Tottenham, seen what happens there. Lots of people are inside that ground. The same at Arsenal. They're inside that ground early, enjoying the delights and all that. So that's what they will want here. The ordinary working man will be priced out of going on a regular basis to the new stadium. There's no two ways about that. That is what's coming.
Yeah, just some talking points. Possibly a club-owned hotel, on-site accommodation for youth team players, obviously improvement to the canal transports for match days, new bridge linking Wharfside with the Quayside, and a new train station behind the South Stand as well, and obviously a Wembley-style walkway to the stadium.
I think a lot of that is waffle, to be honest with you. It's PR waffle. Travel to Old Trafford by the canal, it has to be changed and all that.
Not with the weather that you get 10 months of the year, 11 months of the year.
There's no plans for the canal to upgrade it, to give a fan experience, get into the ground. What are we talking about? I see one boat has 50 people on it. That's it. They're not going to spend money on the canal. It's PR waffle. Then this is the problem, what we've got. You've got to take the waffle out. You've got to take the rubbish out and try and get it there. That's why you want the plans now. And really, when someone mentions fan groups and all that, they should be demanding it on behalf of fans. Let's have it now. Let's have it now. They've been bobbing in and out of there looking at like toy model figures of the ground and everything. You know what I mean? They've been, as they call it, we've been privileged to look at the designs inside this stadium about what's to come. Well, we want the privilege of knowing what the plans are now, the payment, the money, everything. I don't think I could take 6 years of drip feeding me the news of the next stage, the next stage, the next stage. I don't think it's acceptable for a project like this not to have everything in place and shown to the fans as quickly as possible. That includes money and that includes the plans.
Yes, Squire 7 says, in the future, fans won't gather in town in Manchester. They'll just hang around all the new bars, etc., all day.
I'm going to shock you here, okay, to an illusion what goes on. I remember when United started winning the league and they were winning it year after year, maybe a couple of years without it and then getting it again. And I remember, right, the joy of everyone winning the league, right? The first time in the Premier League, everyone was in town. Then it happened again. Everyone's out there celebrating and everything. And when I look back to the last time we won the league, I actually walked home. With my daughter. I didn't see anyone going to town. Town used to be the Manchester city centre where streets were blocked off. Every pub was full. Everyone was out celebrating, doing their own thing. Absolute madness. But it got to a point, right, that fans got blasé about celebrating. It's like, well, I've celebrated the other year. What other celebration can I give? So it sort of died out, that passion of celebrating, to be honest with you. That's how I see it. Someone out there might say it's different. Now, listen, if United, I can tell you exactly right now what would happen. If United in 2-3 years' time went to win the league, town would be full again, okay? And that's what happens when you keep winning the league. Look at City. Hardly anyone ever turns up for their parade and all that because they can't be bothered. They don't know what to do to celebrate because the instant celebration of something where they're shocked at and what a surprise has gone. It's blasé, and that's what's happening to football sometimes. When someone keeps winning it time after time, people get, oh, well, yeah, we won the league, and off they go. Just like I did. I walked home with my daughter because there was no plans from the people I knew, people I hung around with and all that, the fan experience, it had gone because it was just, oh, we've won the league. We're expected to win the league.
That's what I was going to say there. From what you're saying, tell me if I'm wrong, but it's as though like you got used to Manchester United winning the league and it was just, oh yeah, we've won the league again. And that excitement, that buzz went and left. Is that what you're trying to say? The
celebration, that's what I'm saying. The celebration of winning the league completely changed. You always got the buzz when you was travelling around the country, okay, following United. And especially when you was at away games, early doors. Look, there's videos there I could show you about United winning the league the first time and all that, and what celebrations and what dances were going on inside United. It was unbelievable scenes for many, many years, home and away. But eventually, as the ground changed, attitudes changed, fans changed and all that, You know, the culture changed. It's just the way of the world. It's not just with United, it's with Manchester City as well. I mean, because they're so boring anyway. I can't even remember them having a proper celebration when they first won it. But that's not me being biased. It's what I see with my own eyes.
Yeah, Gricker says, Tony is spot on. First year we won the Prem, it was carnage in town.
Correct.
I was hanging off the Albert Memorial with my United shirt on. Great days. Years later, we all got complacent. It was easier. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for as well. A bit complacent, a bit too used to it.
Yeah, I even looked at early 2000. We was on the roofs here. Everyone was on the roofs. You know what I mean? 99, all that, 2000 was on the roofs here, right? Thousands all round here lined up to town and all that. Then it died out.
I remember when you had your office there on St Matt Busby Way, on the actual lampposts and everything.
Yeah,
I had absolute carnage down St Matt Busby Way.
I had everyone on the roof.
Yeah, I've actually got a picture of that actually somewhere on my phone. People on the roofs, and it just lined up, absolutely packed, like shoulder to shoulder, all the way down St Matt Busby Way. Yeah,
your thing is, we'll have one-off experiences in that, but eventually it dies out if you're winning week in, week out, year in, year out, winning the same trophy and that. It gets boring because what you want is competition. Competition gives you the excitement because you're not sure if you're going to win it, you know, win a game and all that, right? And unfortunately, sometimes what's happened in this Premier League, right, you get a team what wins so much and no other challenger comes along, and that's what you've seen with Manchester City. They've actually made the Premier League boring.
DJ Superfly Guy says, I often rerun on MUTV of the past matches. Jules from Solskjaer United TV, the representation of fans at the grounds versus 20 years ago is different. Society's though changed as well. Maybe look at stewarding, maybe policing. I think going around that.
I think what you have to do, and I don't think anyone's ever come up with this idea or theory. I look at 1999 and the year after. I think what happened there with the fan base, it changed, and it changed because people who'd been following the team all their life, right, they'd reached the pinnacle. It was the treble. They'd seen everything, and I think a lot of fans couldn't get up for the excitement because they'd seen everything. They'd sacrificed so much for Manchester United, following him around, that once the treble was done, what else was left? And I think that's what happened. And when you see these fan groups and all that, they were allowed to flourish because the older generation had sort of like stopped caring about what was going on because they'd seen it all. That's how I seen it.
So you're saying like the older generation also then didn't have the same input, so then fans groups were allowed to flourish without any not confrontation, but any say or input from older fans who've been there, seen it.
I think how you try to...
And to get involved.
How to try and give me the question is this. The older fan base went and it left the vacuum for other people to come through with their ideas, the technology and everything else, online and all that. That never used to be what Manchester United was about. There was all one family, and then people had their own ideas and they set off to do their own thing because the older fan base had gone and they were free to do it. That's how I see it. I might be wrong. Anyone wants to challenge me on it and have a discussion about it, then that's fine. It's how I see it. I lived through it. I seen it. I lived and breathed it. I know the older fan group. I know the younger fan group. I see each generation what comes along. So that's how I see it. If anyone thinks it's different and would ever like to sit down, I think it'd be a great podcast to do on what the fan culture is at Manchester United and what it used to be. I think it would be great for someone to come along and sort of like, not challenge my theory on what's gone on with the evolution of the change of Manchester United fan base.
With the changes then inside the football club as well, with the likes of Jim Ratcliffe obviously coming in as a co-owner, do you think it'd be better as well for fresh ideas and a younger generation, though, as part of a fan groups that would be then inside Old Trafford to make the dialogue with the ownership, instead of the tried and so-called trusted fan groups who have been there for years now without any change?
These fan groups, in my opinion, are absolutely deluded if they think they're going to be able to tell Sir Jim Ratcliffe what to do, or any other owner who's got billions and billions and got their plans. They weren't even able to put in a protest before the announcement of children being charged 66 quid. And if fan groups haven't got a say in that, or an influence in that, then they haven't got an influence in anything. And as I see it, it's PR from the fan groups. 66 quid for a kid to go. The biggest insult you can have on a football fan. And if fan groups haven't got a say in that, then they haven't got a say in the running of the football club. And if they are given a little say here and there, it's just to appease them, and it doesn't get in the way of what's going on by the owners of this football club. That is my opinion. It's how I see it. And I'd love to be challenged and have a dialogue with somebody and a discussion on these thoughts.
I'd love to see it, to be fair. I think it'd actually make...
I think everyone would love to see it.
Yeah, I think it'd actually make really good viewing, great viewing for a lot of Manchester United fans out there as well, with similar ideas or opinions that aren't with yours as well. But Sim says these youngsters who are Manchester United fans these days will never know what it was like in the late 60s for me and the 70s. It was absolutely unbelievable. Vincent Bullock says, Tony, when I go to Wembley, I get so excited to see us win the FA Cup, to see you win the Carabao Cup, even us win the Charity Shield. I love watching Manchester United, no matter if we're competing or not.
No, I get excited. Every Manchester United fan should get excited going to Wembley, winning things and all that. I think, I'm not sure if that is sort of saying, celebrate, we're all excited, doesn't matter. I'm excited. Even when I walked home with my daughter after the game, I was excited. There wasn't a celebration. If you win a game, you win a cup, you win a competition, that you better be excited. And if you're not excited, then I don't know what you are.
I like how you've said a couple of times in this show, like walking home with my sister, your daughter, but whereas with me, it was obviously getting thrown over turnstiles, etc. back in the day.
You was treated differently, son.
I was treated differently.
You was treated differently, and it was different times.
Yeah, great times though.
And you're a lad, and you're supposed to have rough and tumble.
Yeah. No, it was really good times. A lot of my earliest memories, to be honest with you, are actually watching Manchester United with you at Old Trafford, but more specifically at away grounds. And they're memories that you just can't take away, that I will live for me forever as well. And I'm sure a lot of you have got them same experiences with family and friends as well. And that's what makes it, you know, it's great watching your football team, whether it is Manchester United or other clubs as well. And you think about it over the last, for me as well, over the last 2 years, you know, considering what we've been seeing on the pitch, a lot of the time we're walking out of the grounds with our chin on our shoulders, just shrugging our shoulders. It's got to the point where we're not coming here to watch the football, to be entertained, thinking that we're going to win game after game. It's about coming here, just meeting up with friends that you've made over the years, watching and following Manchester United, more so than actually watching the game because of what we've been seeing on the pitch.
I think
it's a part of life.
Yeah, no, it is. It's not a part of your life. For some, it is your life. Yeah. It is your life. And what we're seeing now is a deterioration on and off the field. And it's hard to take for a lot of people. But what it is, if it's your life, cradle to grave, what it is, you still give the backing to the club, and you hope, and that's what it is, you hope things turn round. And you do that in any season, good or bad season, but it's hard to do sometimes when it is your life. I go back to what you just said about, like, taking you away. Someone mentioned it there, about the 70s and 80s and all that. Yeah. Listen, what people don't understand who weren't around in the 70s, 80s and 90s is the actual freedom our generations had. There is no freedom compared to what we had, okay? right round the country. And I don't mean just football fans, I mean people in general. That freedom has completely gone. So that experience of what we had, no one else is going to have that, ever. We had more freedom than any generation I've ever known. And they were fantastic times. But that doesn't mean to say fans now don't have a fantastic time. They just have a good time, enjoyable time and all that in a different way.
Yeah, because they were like fans like myself. I think it was from Sim earlier on mentioning about the 60s and the 70s, I think, saying it was unbelievable times. But people like myself haven't lived through them. We only know like the times in my generation, and we probably think we've had some fantastic times, some unbelievable times, just like different generations would have. I can remember some absolutely fantastic times, especially with you or my friends, etc., watching and following Manchester United.
He had good times every time we went away because Dad's rule was no ticket, no payment for the kids. So he had to go straight over the turnstile, straight through with me. Doesn't matter whether he was like 3 foot tall or 6 foot tall. That was my son, and you don't pay for your kid at away games. You put them on the front.
Yeah, he did say that once. Arsenal's ground, obviously Highbury when it was Highbury, not the Emirates. And you left me with, well, you threatened to leave me with the police there outside the ground. Well, he's not got a ticket. I have. I'll be back after the game to come and collect him. They weren't too happy with that, was they? So I got in. Yeah,
well, you know, these things happen. We all get in. You just got to go there. It doesn't matter whether you got money or a ticket. You just go. That's how it was. That was the freedom. We had the freedom to travel. We didn't need money. We didn't need tickets. We knew United was playing, and that's the difference. This generation, for the last 20 years, has worried about match tickets, okay? We never did. And people don't go to the games now like they used to without tickets, or, you know, we had no worries because we was all there. United fans was all there, and we all knew each other.
Yeah, just one there from DJ Superfly guy saying one of his best memories was beating Arsenal at Villa's ground, and you know them days where the FA Cup was played at the likes of Villa's ground. You know that's all gone now, but I used to really love watching the FA Cup when it was times like that.
Well, I go back to a question before what I was asked about fans groups and everything else. All the fans groups all over, no matter where they were from and all that. FA Cup semi-final, Villa Park or Hillsborough or anything like that was always fantastic, right? Moving it to Wembley. All the fan groups rose up and all that. What did they do? Absolutely nothing. But they're all still sat with these people in the Football Association and everything else like that, just taking the money, taking the grants, what they get, okay? They're there for themselves. These fan groups have achieved nothing, while football and the fan experience is diluted year after year after year. That's my opinion on fans groups.
Vincent says your dad Tony believed to pay for the away games was a failure. Goes into a little bit more detail, but I won't discuss that. I think.
No fans.
I was just going to say, where are we up to now in this video? We're discussing a lot of memories and stuff like that, but there's still a lot of getting involved in the chat as well. So
it's the fan experience.
Continue, just keep getting involved.
It's the fan experience. It goes back to what I said earlier on about the new ground, about the working man. The working man will not be able to afford to go in there, okay? There will be restrictions on the working man, okay? It's not the fan they want for the next generation and the generation after that. That's how I see it. And that's why we've got a discussion on fans, on what it was like, what we think it's going to be like, our experiences and everything else like that. And having a conversation about fans' experiences from years ago or in the future now is always a great subject, and a subject every United fan should get involved in, but also get involved in really what you want going forward. And is the people out there able to provide what you want, who say they represent you? Now, that's where we all sort of have a bit of contention about, well, these are doing this, these are doing that on behalf of United fans. Nah, not for me. No one's doing anything on behalf of United fans. They're doing it on behalf of themselves, as I see it. And until someone comes and tells me differently and shows me differently, then that is the way I look at things.
Yeah, just with myself, I do sit a bit uneasy with fans groups inside Old Trafford. You know, it's, to me, it divides the fan base more than actually unites it under one message, where I look at every single Manchester United fan, no matter where you're from, your background, and I just look at you as a Manchester United fan. And it's just, with fans groups, I look at it like politics, religion. It's there to divide people.
And that's what it is.
And to me, it's a lot of division there, and I'm not too sure how you'll actually get unity, because not every fan will agree with a certain fan group's opinions. But I'd just like to thank you all for joining us today. Yeah.
Can I just
of course, sure.
put one point? No, I won't, because it's too controversial. I'll leave it for another time if someone wants to debate me about fans' issues.
That's a good way to end it. Thanks for joining us, everyone, getting involved in the chat. Started talking about the Regeneration project. Went here and there with the conversation. Hopefully you enjoyed it, though, because a lot of you were still getting involved. So maybe that's a good sign, a positive sign.
Yeah, positive.
If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on it. And we'll be back tomorrow with another video. So stay tuned, get that notification on, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your day.